Hey guys, it's Nolan, 7th of July 2022. Hope you're good. So, let's have a little look at the charts. Actually, before we do, just going to drag over the news. It's Thursday today, isn't it? Tomorrow, yeah, we got non-farm payroll. 1:30 p.m. UK time, got CAD jobs numbers as well. So, could see some volatility in the market there. Although I've got to admit, you know, I've said it before actually in one of my previous videos, but non-farm payroll doesn't really produce the volatility that it used to. I mean, when I was first learning how to trade, whenever what that was 5-6 years ago, it really used to see some whip soaring in the market, lots of you know, ups and downs, but not so bad in recent years. But you never do know, because if we get a number here that is totally out of sync with what was forecast, then that's often when we see big spikes and whipsawing in the charts. Okay, when the market is taken by surprise, that's when you see all, you know, lots of different movement. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. But obviously you need to be aware of that, and the dollar is looking a little bit overextended. But, you know, who knows? So we'll have a little look at some charts. We'll have a little look at euro first of all. Potentially, you know, this could be on its way to parity. So parity means that in this case, €1 would equal $1. As you can see, the market is just on this weekly time frame. It's a bearish market. It's a seller's market. Now, it's moving really nicely actually on the weekly time frame, in and out of these moving averages. This is the 20 EMA, this is the 8 EMA. You can see it, you know, it moves away, moves back, moves away, impulse move, moves back, and it's now moving away. The question is this just going to continue all the way down to potentially to parity, or is it going to pull back, come and test this previous area of support first and then come down? That's if it tests parity at all. You know, that's just my opinion. What I would obviously like to see is the opportunity to sell this market by coming back towards the moving averages and to test this support area around about 104, and then looking on the smaller time frames for a sell setup. Something like an evening star on a 4-hour will do, because you can imagine being able to sell up here on a 4-hour in a weekly downtrend all the way down to parity. You know, you're going to earn some decent pips there. Let's just actually measure with the price range. You know, from around about 104. Well, actually, we don't even need it. We can just work it out because it's parity, isn't it? So it's about 400 pips, isn't it? Yeah. So imagine, you know, 400 pips. That'd be really nice, wouldn't it? But we don't know. We don't know if it's going to pull back. We don't know if it's going to go straight down. This impulse here, so this last impulse from this high here to this low, I'm just going to measure it actually. You know, so this is the kind of distance it can do. There you go. Let's extend that over. Around about 830 pips. That was one weekly impulse before we had a correction. So, you know, you can tell straight away that this market could easily just carry on down into that parity zone without that pullback into that zone. Okay, that would be my preference, that it would do that, give me an opportunity to sell, but it might not. It might just go boom straight down, and you'll be looking for, you know, smaller corrections or smaller time frame corrections to get into the market. So knowing that, we can have a little look at smaller time frames. We'll put the 4-hour on here. Let's just see what it's saying. Is this I just want to check that this is the same. If I delete that, I'll just use this one here and sync it over. Okay, so there's my zone. 4-hour. If the 4-hour gives me a setup to sell, you know, I'll go for it. Now, for me, that setup has to be a pullback into that 20 moving average on the 4-hour. Okay, I want to see that 20 moving average tested, and this is my personal way of trading. You know, there'll be other people that trade differently. Maybe they'll look for a bounce off the 8 moving average. I mean, there's been an evening star pattern there. Look, 1, 2, 3. If you'd have sold underneath there, you'd be in a little bit of profit at the moment. But I like price to come back and test that 20 moving average on time frames 4 hours or less. Daily, I've found you know, at least a test of the 8 moving average, which is this EMA in black, it can be enough. But smaller than that, I like to see 20 moving average tested and rejected. So I'll be looking for a pullback. Now, looking at this on a 4 hour, what I can see is, just ignoring the moving average, I can see a little bit of support here, which got broke, hasn't been retested yet. So we could even come back into this little zone here, and it might end up testing that 20 moving average there. And if I can see an evening star pattern, now if you don't know what an evening star pattern is, just, you know, you can Google it. I mean, it's basically a 3 candlestick pattern, evening star, and it's a sell setup in a downtrend. I'm just gonna look for one here. I mean, that would be an evening star, 1, 2, 3. It's basically where the market, we see buyers coming in a downtrend, and then the sellers come back in again. Okay, another one here, we're in a downtrend, the buyers come back in, and then the sellers, 1, 2, 3. It's a 3 candlestick pattern. I always look for candle 1 to be bullish. I always look for candle 3 to be bearish. Okay, so we get something like that here, which interacts with the 20 moving average, evening star pattern, and candle 3 for me has to close below the 8 moving average, so this line here. So that little pullback, sellers come in, that'd be a sell setup for me. But until then, you know, according to my rules, I can't trade this. Okay, it doesn't matter that I've seen an evening star here. That's not the way. That's not what I look for. I look for the evening star after the 20. There was one. Look, 1, 2, 3, evening star pattern. Probably wouldn't have sold that one though, and the reason why is because this is a major support zone. Okay, this is the big zone around about 104, where I would ideally like price to retest, but it might not necessarily do that. It might just be kind of very much one directional, where we see, you know, this was like an up move, small correction, up move, small correction, small correction. It might just do that, boom, 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 and then go all the way down to parity. We don't know. You know, we've got to trade. This is what we say. You know, we say trade what you see. Okay, not what you think. Trade what you see. So if this gives me a setup and it meets my strategy rules, then, you know, I have to seriously consider about trading it, because, you know, that's my rules. So yeah, keep an eye. I'm actually going to put an alert on this. Actually, I'd like to know when price gets into this zone. So I'm just going to put a little note there. H4 previous support, and we'll say look for evening star. Okay, I love setting alerts. It just means that you don't have to keep watching your charts of interest. So yep, we might even, you know, see through non-farm payroll. It'll pop up here, and then rejection. Who knows? But yeah, that's what I'm going to be looking for on that. I mean, when you, like I say, when you look at it on the bigger picture, it is a bit overextended from the moving averages. It really is. But it, you know, it will pull back, or it should pull back. You know, look at this huge move down here, and then eventually had a decent pullback, and it kind of ranged a little bit really on the monthly. So this still, you know, it's in a monthly impulse, so it can go on. And okay, and I do see parity being tested, but that remains to be seen. Let's see what we get. First port of call for me is this zone here, where the moving averages are what's called dynamic. So by the time, and if price comes back into this zone, the moving averages are dynamic, and they're moving because they move with price. They're based on or calculated from previous price action. So the 20 moving average might be in this zone when it, and if and when it pulls back. All right, so I'll be looking for that. Mark talked about seasonality in yesterday's video. Take a look at the video. I'll put a little link to that at the end. I talked about seasonality with precious metals, and, you know, looking for longs in gold and silver. And a great video, actually. You can see why potentially silver could be a bigger mover to the upside than gold. Both are bullish traditionally in July, but if you look at the gold v silver chart, in fact, I'll just do that now. It's in the video which Mark did yesterday, so have a look at it. It's a really good video. Not too sure whether Mark was looking at the weekly or daily, but if you can imagine, you know, something like that. Not too sure where he had his trend line, but you know, potentially you've got a bit of a channel. Depends on how you want to draw it. But from that, you know, this is a chart of gold against silver. You know, when you look at the gold chart, that's actually gold against USD. Don't know whether you knew that, but that's what it is. And when you look at silver chart, it's the price of silver against the US dollar. This is a chart of gold priced against silver, and you can see that this is at resistance potentially. It's in a channel, so likely to see some downside on this. So that would mean that gold would be weaker than silver. Okay, so in that case, silver would be stronger than gold. Hence why, if we're going to see a move up on both of the metals, probably silver will be stronger. Okay, and traditionally silver has an increase of about 5% over July, and it also increases in August as well. Not as much as July normally, but you know, it has a decent July, August positive month. So yeah, keep your eye on silver. Now I think, going back to it, which was what I was doing, I think silver has the potential for another move down at least. It looks to be forming a flag pattern. Okay, so a bearish flag, which you would see after an impulse of selling. So selling, correction. Have a look at the price action. Okay, price action is very, very one directional. Look at the, you know, big candles, very, very much you can see sellers are in charge. Look at this move up here. It's an uptrend on a smaller time frame, but look at the candles compared to this move down here. Okay, very, very sharp, very, very direct. This is very, very drip, 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 drip. This is potentially telling me that this is a correction, plus it's in a flag pattern, i.e. it's making higher highs, higher lows against this CTL counter trend line, so it's going against the dominant trend. If this breaks, I can see this pushing down into this little zone here, which is something I've indicated probably in one of my last videos. This zone for me is where I'm looking, purely because of these lows here where price came in. It's about 1875, somewhere around there, 1870. So I've got my alert set anyway. If and when that goes off, I'll be looking for, well, smaller changes of cycle. Yeah, so changes of cycle on the smaller time frames, I should say. Absolutely nothing there at the moment. The direction is still down. It's making lower highs, lower lows, and you know, there's no buy setup at all whatsoever at the moment. Okay, but potentially there could be room for another move to the downside. Looking at this trend line, we might get, I mean, some people might want to look to sell this. We might get something like that, a little test of this trend line, and then down, okay, and then look for a buy setup. So let's just draw something like this as well. There's a bit of a, yeah, this is looking quite nice actually. We've got a floor there, we've got a ceiling here. So yeah, keep your eyes on this, because if we have another move back up and we break this high, what you could do is you could potentially look for a sell setup there on a smaller time frame. Sell it if you get a sell setup. You know, when it gets to here, you've got a choice. Bank some money, move your stop to break even, or just put your stop to break even, and you want to hope that then that it breaks out and it pushes all the way down, and then you've got a great trade from up here. Okay, now I'd say that's really for the experienced traders, because you're going to be trading smaller time frames there. You know, this is the 15-minute. For me, you know, you need to be very experienced if you're going into time frames like that. It's much, much safer to trade more daily, 4 hour, time frames. When you get lower than 4 hour, I think, well, hour not so bad actually, but when you get lower than that, I do think you need some experience, but that's my personal view. So this could break out here as it happens, but I would like it. It would be good, wouldn't it, if it came back, broke this high, tested this trend line, and then started to drop. So keep your eyes on that. If you think about it, I'm looking for a little bit of an up move on euro before it drops. We could be looking for a little bit of an up move on silver before it drops. Both are priced against the USD. So keep your eyes on silver. I think at least one more drop, put it that way. Aussie Swiss, something we've been looking at today in the group. Just have a little look on the daily here. It basically, you know, price is bouncing off this lovely zone of support. I mean, look at this weekly candle at the moment. Basically reversed all of last week's bearish move. Big move down, big move down, big move down, boom. Now, obviously, this candle has a day and 5 hours to go before it closes, so, you know, it might not look anything like this. But it's come from support, so we can potentially look at buy opportunities. And what would be nice is, just look at the best time frame to show you, but this little zone here, look, can you see? Resistance, resistance, broke. What do you look for? You look for a retest and rejection to go long. So that would be an ideal setup, because basically, yeah, we're looking for, can see that change of trend actually, you know, that the high, the low, lower high, lower low, higher high, higher low, higher high, looking for a higher low. We could actually come back even further if you think about it, but we've got a trend line there. Potentially it could be a false break, something like that. So we could actually pop down a little bit further, but the first zone of interest really for you to look for is this zone here, previous resistance, and then look for a buy setup around here. If you use moving averages, well, there's your 20, there's your 8 on the 4 hour. You know, me personally, I'd like to see it come back and test the 20 moving average. That's where I like to see price test and reject from. So I'd be looking for a bit more of a move down. Okay, so you know, just like this little uptrend here, can you see the bounce of the 20 here? It rejected the 20 there, rejected the 20 there. Those were buy opportunities for me. So doesn't mean it's going to do that. It might come into this zone, bounce off it, and bounce off the 8, and then go. Okay, it just depends on what your personal rules are. There's no right or wrong answer. As long as you've got a strategy or strategies that you use that are profitable on average, because that is the trick to trading. Because I said it in my last video, you are going to have losing trades. Absolutely no getting away from that. The trick is that you are more profitable than... you have more winners, if you like, than losers. You make more money than you are losing. Okay, that is the trick, and that is where having a good strategy, good risk management, taking the high probability trades, that's where it all comes into action. If you you know, if you need help with that, then please get in touch with us. You know, we would love to try and help you, and we can let you know the services that we offer. And you know, at the end of the day, we want to turn all of you guys watching this video into fantastic traders. Okay, because that's what we want. We nothing better than to, you know, show someone how to make money and see them become successful. Okay, so you know, if you need help, trading can be a lonely business. Get in touch, and you know, we'll see what we can do for you. So Aussie Swiss looking for longs, 66.20 could be a zone of interest. One more chart I'm going to look at. I think if we look at Kiwi CAD, Kiwi CAD for me looks very overextended. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of that zone. It's an important zone actually, but I'm going to bring it back in a second. Putting on the monthly time frame, put some moving averages on. Okay, just look at the way price moves around the moving averages. This is the monthly. It moves very, very nicely. You know, it's obviously in a downtrend at the moment. You can see the sellers are in control of this market, but is it looking a little bit overextended from the moving averages? I think it is. You know, and it doesn't move away too far before it comes back again, whether it's an up move there, whether it's a down move there, comes back, you know, up move, comes back. It's got some really, really nice cyclicity, and I think this is oversold. I think this is due a pullback into the moving averages, and looking at how it moves, it can come back at least to this 20 moving average, and that is a fair old distance. You know, this is a monthly time frame, so where it is now roughly to the where the 20 is now, obviously the 20 can move. It's a dynamic indicator. It's 500 pips. So, you know, is that something you want to jump on? Well, it should be. If you're a trader, you got the opportunity to make 400-500 pips. You know, you want to be interested. So I'm looking, and I've been looking for a while actually. I've been looking for this monthly impulse to die out and to start seeing buyers. But those risk currencies have been quite weak, you know, so just watching this really, really carefully. And the little zone actually I had there, if you can see on the hourly, I was looking for a buy setup, and I wanted to see how price reacted around this level, because there's a bit of a range going on actually. I'm interested in buys because of the monthly being overextended. So yeah, keep your eyes on this. Depending on your strategy, if you've got one, you know, maybe you're looking for a morning star pattern here. Now for me, because this candle is so big, it's got such a big wick on it, this candle here would have to close above this 50% here, and then that would be a morning star pattern. You know, if it does and that agrees with your personal rules, then you could look for a buy up into this zone, and then potentially you're hoping that that monthly impulse to the downside has run out of steam and we're going to see a correction. So that looks interesting as well. Okay, so in summary, Euro USD, potentially a shorter pullback and then a move down into parity. XAG USD, so that's silver. I think another downside on that. Aussie Swiss, looking for longs on that. Kiwi CAD, looking for longs. Massively overextended on the monthly. I think that selling is going to run out of steam very, very soon. I'm going to see some buyers. Let's see though. Okay, we have to trade the price action that we are given. So listen guys, give us a like. Somewhere down there there's a like button. Give us a like. Make sure you're subscribed. Yeah, and if you know other traders, you must know other traders, share the video with them. Let them see the information. You know, you could help them. You could help them with potentially you know, some nice pips if some of these moves actually come to fruition. And yeah, get in touch. If you're having trouble with your trading, get in touch with us and let us know what the problems are, and if we can help, then we'll try and help. Okay. So in the meantime, it's about 5:15 here in the UK. Have a great rest of your evening. Remember, it's non-farm payroll tomorrow. We've got CAD news as well. Safe trading, and I'll catch you again in the next video. Bye.